watching today?
Wow, well today, Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly meet a princess.
Yay!
So the boys woke up and they had just come back from Daytona Beach yesterday and they were still kind of tired and they were so sunburned. They looked so cute. So Mommy Piggy says, "What are you boys going to do today?" And Squiggly says, "I don't know. We were talking upstairs, and I think we're just going to kind of take a walk or something because we're still tired from all of that sand and all that sunshine, and it was so much fun, Mama. Thank you so much for taking us." And Piggly says, "Oh, Mommy, we had such a good time." And Wiggly said, "I had the best time ever." So Mama Piggly says, "I am so proud of you boys for never doing a sandcastle in your life, and you got second prize." Well, she had an old frame that used to have a picture of her sister, and she said, "You know what? I know what my sister looks like. I am going to put their award, their proclamation, their award in this picture frame." Oh my heavens, it was such a fancy picture frame, and that award looked so nice in that picture frame, and she hung it right over the fireplace. It was so special, and it says, "Daytona Beach. This is to proclaim that Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly was awarded second place in the 1979 Sandcastle contest." Oh my gracious sakes. And then she hung their medals in another frame up beside the award frame. Oh my gracious sakes. They were so proud of that. Oh, that was over the fireplace. That was the first thing anybody saw when they came in the door. Well, so as they fixed a great, nice, pretty big breakfast of oatmeal and brown sugar and some bananas, and oh my gracious sakes, they ate and ate and ate and ate. Their little tummies was so full. And they said, "I don't think we can ever go outside. We're so full." And Mommy says, "Out the door, boys, because I got work to do." Well, you know, Mommy's work was most of the time making them pretty shirts. And they were known throughout the forest for their pretty shirts. So they go out and they start to play, and they met the little bad wolf, and they met Sadie the skunk, and they hadn't seen Sadie the skunk for a long time. And so everybody the boys were telling Sadie what all they had done this past week, and she said she wondered where they were. And so then they came along to Patty Pig and Allie the alligator, and that was probably their best friends, you know. And so Little Bad Wolf, he was so proud that he got to go with them and help them. And people said, "Oh, no, you didn't." And he said, "Oh, yes, I did too." And he said, "Me and Mr. Farmer Brown and Mrs. Farmer Brown rode all the way over there in Mr. Farmer Brown's truck. I got to go too." And Allie the alligator says, "I wished I could have gone." And Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly says, "Well, we're going to go again next year." And what we were thinking is maybe the Little Bad Wolf, you and Allie the alligator could team up and build a sandcastle with us. Wow, our audience is awful sleepy today. And then maybe Sadie Skunk, why don't you and Patty Pig team up and do a sandcastle too? And we could all go over there. Oh, what a great time that could be. And you know what? I bet you that our mama could rent a great big house And because she was telling us what they do, they have a great big house, and one family lives here, and one family lives here, and one family lives here. And that way all of our parents could go, and we could have such a good time on a vacation. And Little Bad Wolf says, well, I don't have any parents. And Piggly says, that's okay, Little Bad Wolf, because you get to live with Farmer Brown, and this is Farmer Brown. Oh, I like that. That is so good. Mr. Farmer Brown's my idol. I love him. He's so nice to me. Well, they're walking in the woods, and they're still talking about all this vacation next year and the sandcastle next year, and oh, they're just having a good time. And they came around the corner, and there stands the most beautiful girl they had ever seen. She made, she just, oh my gosh, words cannot do her justice. She was so pretty. And she had on this royal purple dress, and she had a crown on her head. She had pink gloves on, and she had a specter that she was carrying in her hand. And they said, who are you? And she goes, I'm a princess. Oh, a princess, a real live princess. And Sadie's gun goes, yes, your highness. And she pulled out her skirt, she bows and she curtsies. Oh my gosh. Her little heart was just a-going. And Patty Pig says, I can't curtsy because I got shorts on. I can't curtsy. And Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly says, what do we do? And Little Bad Wolf says, I don't know what we do. And Allie the alligator says, you bow. You bow down. Let's bow down. And he gets up on his tail and he bows down, you know. Oh, my goodness gracious sakes alive. And the princess was smiling and she was laughing by now. And she says, well, you boys and girls, wow. She says, thank you. And I am a real princess. I came from the country of Albania. Albania, yeah. That's real far away. That's like over the ocean far away. And they said, how did you get here? Don't you have to come by a boat? And she says, a boat or an airplane. She said, I was supposed to go to the big town. It's somewhere that way, but I don't know where it is. And our car broke down, and the driver, he went and he was going to get the tire fixed, and he disappeared. And I sat in the car for a whole day, and I haven't had anything to eat in 2 days. And my driver didn't come back, and I don't know where I am, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly says, that's okay. We'll take care of it. Let's go see Mr. Farmer Brown. Who's Mr. Farmer Brown? She said. And Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly said, he's our... And Little Bad Wolf says, he's our friend. He's a good guy. You'll like him. And he can help us. So she got over and she went with them. And oh, they were crowding around her. They were just making a big circle around her because she was so pretty. And so finally, Patty Pig says, we just can't call you princess. What do we call you? And the princess says, my name is Princess Hannah Lilia Lucy Octavia. Little Bad Wolf says, do we have to call you all of that? Because I've already forgot what it was. And she says, no, you may call me Princess Hannah. And Piggly says, yeah, we're going to drop the princess. but that's my title. That's my name. And Piggly says, you're in the woods now. You're in the forest with us. And we don't have titles. We have names. You mean I get to have a name all by myself and not a title? I don't have to be a princess all the time? And they said, no, we're just plain old boys and girls, and we just have such a good time. Well, about that same time, here they come to Mr. Farmer Brown's house, and they knocked on the door. And Mrs. Farmer Brown came to the door, and she goes, hi, boys and girls. Ooh. And Hannah says, good morning, Mrs. Farmer Brown. My name is Princess Hannah. Well, it's a whole bunch of names, but they just call me Princess Hannah now. Oh, well, she pulls out her skirts and she curtsies to her Princess Hannah. And she says, come on in. She says, I'm just making some tea. Would everybody like some tea? And all the boys and girls loved Mrs. Farmer Brown's tea because it was so good. So they all sit around the table, and Mr. Farmer Brown says, okay, what do we owe this surprise visit for? You guys must be up to something. What's going on? And so Squiggly says, well, I think Princess Hannah needs to tell the story. And so she told Mr. Farmer Brown and Mrs. Farmer Brown the story that her car had broken down and the driver went for help to change the tire and he disappeared. And she hadn't ate for 2 days. And Mrs. Farmer Brown right away gets up and she makes her a great big eggs and bacon breakfast, and she's, I haven't had food in so long. Oh, my gracious sakes. Oh, my tummy is so full now. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Farmer Brown. That was so nice of you. Thank you very much. So Mr. Farmer Brown says, well, let me get on the telephone and I will call some people and I will see where your driver went to. Well, he did. And nobody in town had seen a strange man. He was dressed in a blue uniform with a red checkered tie, and he had on a blue hat with a red feather in it. Now, surely he must be easy to recognize because most of the people in the forest had on overalls and drove a tractor, and even when they came to town, they drove their tractor to town. So I wonder where this man went, and nobody had seen him. So Mr. Farmer Brown says, well, we've got to get the princess back to where she was going. Where were you going, Princess Hannah? Oh, well, she said, I eventually was supposed to go to, I don't know, a town. It's got a strange name, something like Kissimmee Thonasassa? Kissimmee Thonasassa? Kissimmee, that's what it is. It's Kissimmee Thonasassa. I've never heard of such a name like that. Have you ever heard of such a name like that?
No.
Well, Mr. Farmer Brown knew where that was. It was about 5 miles down the road. You turn left, and there's this town. And it was a nice town. It was a pretty town. It was a perfect princess town. So he says, all right, Princess Hannah, how about this? How about if you stay with Mrs. Farmer Brown and me, and we will feed you, and we will take you to the Kissimmee Thonasassa town, and we'll wait for you while you do whatever you need to do there. And she says, she said, I am getting an award for being here in I'm in the United States, right? I'm in Florida. And Mr. Farmer Brown says, yes, you're in Florida. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm getting an award for being in Florida because I'm such a good princess and I'm so pretty. So Mr. Farmer Brown says, well, we'll take you and then we're going to bring you back here. And Mrs. Farmer Brown is going to have we have an upstairs bedroom that we don't use. And yes, going to be your bedroom. Well, she said, oh, thank you. And he says, and you can stay here as long as it takes to find your driver. So she says, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Farmer Brown. Thank you, Mrs. Farmer Brown. She said, can I go to sleep now? I've been traveling for so long, and I just met all the boys and girls, and now you fed me, and my tummy is full. Can I go to sleep for a little bit? All right, boys and girls. We'll see you Monday with the next chapter. Bye.
Bye-bye.